Good morning. It is early June and Charles is itching to finish the bathroom in the yurt. So he ran out to buy a product this morning that is supposed to waterproof the hardy backer before he starts to lay the tile. He'll need to wait for that to dry, and then hopefully soon we will have a functional shower and sink in the bathroom.
I am no expert tiling person. I'm going to put the first row around the base of the tub and let it dry so it's good and solid, and we'll hold the stacks on top of it when I get ready to do that.
What are you thinking about this project, Charles?
It's stressful. This first row it's just hard. I've not done this in a really long time. Trying to get it all level, and I just want it to look nice, and it's hard to do it perfectly the first time.
So, we have been busy lately, but we haven't forgotten that we live in a fascinating place. One thing we were looking forward to this spring was watching for fish during their migration season. Sometime soon, I'll dedicate a whole video to the wonderfully creepy sea lampreys that swim up the Connecticut River to spawn. But in the meantime, here's a quick preview of our backstage tour at the Vernon Fishway, where the fish are counted as they come through this viewing area. But we didn't just visit several fish ladders this season. We also went searching for the lampreys, out in the wild, doing their thing. And after a few weeks without much rain, we got lucky enough to find them while the tributaries were low enough to walk through and clear enough to see through. This little pool got cut off from the rest of the river mouth, so it looks like there's a lamprey in there that's doomed. I know you're wondering if we left it there, and the truth is, I did decide to attempt a rescue operation. But I knew before I tried to pick it up that it wouldn't be possible with my bare hands. It was just too slippery to get a grip. And I didn't have a net or any other equipment apart from my cell phone and my little underwater camera. So I thought about it for a moment, and I almost asked Charles for his shirt. But then I realized I had my own wet socks available. So I put those on my hands to get a grip on the slimy fish. Then, all I had to do was walk it over to the deeper water without dropping it on the rocks. I know some of you are thinking we have some very strange hobbies, and I'm not going to argue with that, but we sure do love doing strange things in our strange new home. Here's the little guy I just rescued. He's not the brightest. He or she? Anyway, they're going the right direction now. Took a little while. So it was back to tiling for Charles. But he did find a rhythm.
It got easier once I got going. I mean, I got a groove down, buttering the back of the tiles and putting them up that way rather than trying to smear a bunch on the wall and put the tiles on.
Eventually, the tile was done and it was ready to grout. Did you steal my book? Good morning. I haven't had a chance to chase Charles around with the camera very much lately. I've been working a full-time summer job with the Vermont State Parks, which is pretty cool because I get to be outside and talk to people about nature. But I'm here in the yurt today and I'm going to go catch up with Charles and his progress on the bathroom tile.
Now I'm trying to seal the grout lines. You're not supposed to let it dry on the tile. I got the tile all done and I'm getting ready to put up the trim around the tub, which will make it look much, much better.
Then, finally, it was time to install the shower head and the spigot for the tub. It's been a while since we've been back here in the utility room, but Charles has actually gotten a lot hooked up since the last time we were here. So let's ask him for a tour.
So this is our water system as it stands. Our water comes down, is pumped up from our cisterns. This is where it comes in. This is our input. It goes first through the filter. And it comes out and tees off here and goes cold water in the house, all the faucets. And then it comes off and sends cold water to the mixing valve, which we've also got hot water coming from the hot water tank to the mixing valve, and this is going out to the hot water to the house. The mixing valve keeps the hot water at a constant temperature that won't scald you. Comes through a check valve, so water can never go back that direction. This is an expansion tank for if water heats up or pressurizes for any reason. This will absorb the pressure without popping a line somewhere. And then the cold water comes into the bottom of the heater tank. That's where the cold water goes in, and it's heated, comes out the top. It's hot water out. From there it goes down and around to the cold water in of the instant water heater.
So if there's already hot water in here and there's hot water coming in here, we don't burn propane. It just passes through. This is the hot water out. Again, that goes to the mixer valve. And then it comes down, this goes to the heat exchanger for the radiant floor system. And that also goes through the heat exchanger, out through the pump, back through here, check valve one way so it can't go the other direction. And then it goes through the tank.
So if it's hot for in here, this won't run, but if it isn't, then this will run and we can heat our floor with it.
If you didn't quite follow all of that, I'm afraid I didn't either, but there will be a diagram, and we can revisit the water system when the radiant floor heat is ready for testing. But for now, let's go ahead and test the indoor plumbing. One thing that Charles did off camera is finally installed the drain under the bathroom sink, which is why he can now test the water. What are we doing?
We're going to turn the water on and hope for no leaks, but I'm betting there will be. Too many connections here not to be. Okay, so all this water will be coming from our cisterns via the pump in the cistern, just like our outside running water. This releases the flow to come into the system, come through the filter first, and we'll just keep an eye on things. I'll let it go slow. Water coming in. Now it's going to be coming out here, going into our mixer valve, and out to the cold water in the house. See it coming in.
We have indoor plumbing.
Well, yet to be seen if it leaks or not, but we do.
So far, so good?
So far, so good. This was all pressure tested with air, so we shouldn't have any water leaks in the wall. The main places I need to really watch, I'm going to watch it all, but the main places where I put the valves on and then everything in the utility area. I am very happy. The entire water system is fully pressurized. Well, not quite the entire thing yet, but just about. Both hot and cold sides, fully pressurized, and no leaks anywhere. I don't see a single drop of water anywhere. And I'm getting ready to try both bathroom faucets. So here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. So now we're going to turn the valves on up to this faucet. Cold water.
Well, before we sign off this week, I wanted to share a couple of nature updates. If you followed our first season in Vermont, you likely remember this invasive, creepy caterpillar, which devastated the trees at the top of our hill. They're called spongy moths, and every once in a while they have a population explosion that can last several years in a row. I took this footage recently, but I'm so happy to report that the caterpillars have been few and far between this year. You see them every once in a while, but they haven't defoliated the trees, and you can walk through the forest without their poop falling in your hair. And if you watched our recent episodes, you know that our bluebirds fledged 2 babies from the bird box on top of the hill. Now they've relocated into the other bluebird box down on top of the septic tank, right next to the yurt. And they've already laid at least a couple of eggs in there.